Hi, I'm Nejat Doğan from the Department of International Relations at Anadolu University. Welcome to our course today, and today's topic is global political economy. And let's see the chapter outline. First of all, in this chapter covers what is global political economy, theoretical framework, the structure of global production and trade, the global production of knowledge and technology, and finally, global finance structure. We will touch on each of these issues, but as usual, I would encourage you to read all these from your chapter very closely. And first of all, let's talk about what is global political economy. And as an academic discipline, the global political economy occupies the intersection of politics and economics at the global level. It analyzes interactions between private economic actors and states. And some of the core questions we ask in global political economy are: who governs the world economy? What are the political drivers of the global economy? Who benefits from economic globalization? Okay, and then your chapter talks about theoretical framework, and we have three important critical theoretical perspectives on global political economy. First is mercantilism, secondly, economic liberalism, and third of all, the Marxist school. Let's look at mercantilism briefly. And mercantilism, in fact, is closely associated with the IR theory of realism. And according to mercantilism, politics drives economics, which means politics comes before economics. Mercantilism, in fact, was influential in the 16th and 17th centuries, and European states, especially big powers, believed that they should follow this approach of mercantilism for maintaining strong militaries. In fact, mercantilism is closely associated with national economic policy and nationalism. Alexander Hamilton and Frederick List were the two critical advocates of mercantilism. And in the chapter, we review some critical concepts such as zero-sum game, absolute gains, and relative gains. Secondly, economic liberalism. As you know, liberalism places great emphasis on liberty and individual. According to liberalism, individuals should be free to make their own choices, and liberalism believes, in fact, that economics drives politics. In mercantilism, we said politics drives economics, but here, just the reverse, which means that the economics drives politics, economics come before politics. So economic relations, in fact, have supremacy over political affairs in the economic liberal approach. Adam Smith, David Ricardo were the two important advocates of economic liberalism. In this section, we review some concepts such as invisible hand, laissez-faire, laissez-passer, economies of scale, and Keynesianism. And third of all, the Marxist school. This school proposes to examine economic and political issues through the concept of social class. And analysis of social classes then is the key to understand political economy according to the Marxist school. And one of the Marxist approaches in the economy is the dependency theory. As a version of this, we see Wallerstein and the word system theory. According to the word system theory, the international economy can be divided into three, which is the core, the periphery, and the semi-periphery. And some of the critical concepts in this chapter are, as we said, core, periphery, semi-periphery, and the bourgeoisie. And let's look at the structure of global production and trade. First of all, according to 2016 data, the world produced around 74 trillion worth of goods, and the share of the West in this production is almost 70%, which means the West is still very influential in producing the world's products in 2016. However, there are some emerging powers in the world economy, and the most important of these countries is the BRIC countries, which means Brazil, Russia, India, and China. The chapter reviews then transnational corporations and then moves on to analyze international trade. And as you know, in fact, between 1945 and 1995, about like 50 years, the GATT process was critical, which is the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. However, this General Agreement of Tariffs and Trade structure transformed into an organization, which is the World Trade Organization, in 1995. And the chapter will also talk about the regional trade blocs under this section. And now the global production of knowledge and technology, in fact, the international knowledge technology structure is a web of rules and practices that determine how knowledge is generated, commercialized, and controlled. And the governments and their innovation policies are critical in this process, and the governments support the individual and private research and development projects, and governments around the world formulate an innovation policy. And when it comes to intellectual property, the main institution responsible of promoting intellectual property rights around the world is the WIPO, which is World Intellectual Property Organization. And another critical organization is the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. And the chapter finally reviews global finance structure. And first of all, it gives the history of international monetary system. Before 1870, we see a system based on the use of gold and silver. However, between 1870 and 1914, we see the classic gold standard. However, after the 1914, starting with the First World War, and up until the 1945, in the interwar years, we see generally inflation and a lot of crisis and Great Depression during the interwar years. The major powers wanted to go back to the gold standard, however, they failed. And after 1945, after the Second World War, we see the construction of the Bretton Woods system, which lasted until 1971. And from 1972 up until present, we see a very flexible international monetary system, which is also called hybrid system. The chapter also talks about reform needs in the global finance structure. And especially we see alternative institutions and forums such as the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and also the G20. And this wraps up our video today, and thank you for joining me. And the next chapter will be about global society. I hope you join me in that video. By then, you take care. Bye.